Hi, I'm Katherine Schwab, an assistant managing editor here at Forbes covering technology, and I am stoked to be here with Clay Bavor. He is the co-founder of Sierra, which is making huge moves in bringing AI to customer service. Clay, thank you so much for joining me.
Catherine, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here. I really appreciate it.
This is my first interview of 2026, which is very exciting. Tell me about Sierra's 2025. What are your reflections from the year, and what are you looking forward to moving into 2026?
First of all, I'm excited to be the first one. It was an extraordinary 2025 for us. The mission that we're on is trying to resolve this age-old tension between the cost and the quality of how the great businesses of the world serve their customers. And I'm so proud of the progress we made in the last year. In particular, we've made extraordinary inroads in the Fortune 1000. And 50% of our customers do over $1 billion in revenue per year. 20% do over 10 billion a year. Through our customers, we reach upwards of 95% of Americans in retail with customers like The Gap. In healthcare, we reach over 50% of families with customers like Sutter Health and Cigna. In the media ecosystem, we think we reach over 90% of families with customers like SiriusXM and Tubi. And even in fintech and financial services, something around 70% of families with customers like Chime and SoFi. So just the expansion into very large and in cases regulated companies is something we're really proud of. We also hit an important milestone. We reached $100 million in annual recurring revenue in just 7 quarters. And we're not exactly sure where that puts us, but it's among the fastest growing enterprise software companies ever. And so we're just super excited about the momentum in the business and how we're helping the great companies of the world show up at their best in every interaction with their customers.
Great. So walk me through, for the uninitiated, what is Sierra's product, kind of in very tangible terms? If I'm a customer of one of the many companies you just described and I'm interacting with one of Sierra's bots, what does that look like?
Yeah. So Sierra helps companies build their own branded customer-facing AI agents for all parts of their customer experience. And I think people hear customer experience and they go to service and support. And yes, we excel at that. We are saving many of our customers tens, even hundreds of millions of dollars, and dramatically improving customer satisfaction at the same time. But I think more broadly, we help with all parts of the customer experience. We worked with Rocket and one of their subsidiary companies, Redfin, the real estate search company, to build conversational real estate search. And it is so cool what has happened there, where for customers that use the Redfin conversational real estate search, they're 47% more likely to book a tour as a result, and view 2 times as many listings. Other agents of ours, if you're an ADT customer, largest home security company in the US, and you have a problem with your alarm system, your panel starts beeping, you call ADT. An AI agent that we worked with them to build will pick up the phone, help you figure out which of their alarm panels you're on, even drop ship you a new battery in the mail with no one involved. If you're a SiriusXM customer and you just purchased a new vehicle and you want to move your plan from car A to car B, you'll speak with Harmony, the AI agent that SiriusXM built that can pick up on chat, can pick up on phone. We even enable our customers to publish into ChatGPT. And Harmony can actually send a satellite signal from space to move your encryption keys to your new vehicle. So really, AI agents for all parts of the customer experience, from finding a home to buy, originating a mortgage, transferring a subscription from car A to car B, finding stuff to watch on a streaming service, and more.
Customer service is one of the really kind of obvious use cases for AI and for large language models. What are the gaps right now that you see? Like, where are your teams kind of struggling, where when you have a bot conversation happening with a customer, where do things start to break down? Because I think many of us have had that experience where you have like a really complex question with all this context and you really just need to talk to a human. How do you negotiate that gap?
Yeah. Well, I think many of us have been kind of trained on the chatbots from 5 years ago, or the dreaded phone tree systems that I think are probably some circle of hell, where you get stuck and I just agent. The technology has advanced so far in even just the last 3 years. When we founded the company, when we announced the company, no one even knew what an agent was. We had to explain to our friends and to prospects what an agent is. And under the hood of an AI agent, right, you have software that can reason, make decisions, understand and generate natural language, and problem solve. And so as an example of something that has surprised us, with one of our consumer electronics customers, we've had their AI agent develop workarounds, technical troubleshooting workarounds, that their service team wasn't even aware of. And they ended up actually retraining their service agents using that technical workaround. So increasingly, these agents are not only answering questions, solving problems, but coming up with novel solutions to some of those problems. I think about the gaps more in terms of the opportunities ahead than kind of where there are problems, because increasingly they're very sophisticated. One that I'm very excited about is deep personalization. And I think the web kind of promised us personalization, but Catherine, I bet if you or I went to website X or Y or Z, we'd get basically the same experience. There's an opportunity with AI agents where the experience is personalized down, not just to the person, not just to the particular session, but to the exact interaction. And as I imagine it, what if you or I, with every company we interacted with, had a kind of white glove level of service concierge who knew everything about the product lines and remembered what we were into and our preferences and could help connect the dots on that. So that's a big one. And closely related to that, a gap we see today is that most agents kind of have amnesia between sessions. So an agent could speak with you last week and then pick up a conversation today, and with existing technology, not connect the dots. We're building systems that enable agents to develop long-term relationships, in essence, and connect the dots across sessions and deliver a much better experience as a consequence. So those are some of the opportunities that I see ahead.
The personalization piece, I think, is really interesting and feels like a kind of totally different way of thinking about what customer service is. Could you expand a little bit about the different kind of modes in which you see agents kind of acting as representatives of a company, whether that's voice or text or like on WhatsApp or different ways that you could have kind of that more personal experience with the customer?
It's such a great question, Catherine. And what we see happening is moving from a world that is multi-channel to a world that is a single agent showing up across all of those channels. Many of the companies we work with 18 months ago, before they began working with us, had a separate chat team, a separate voice team, a separate team for every channel, and you ended up with a different experience in each one of those. The voice, the tone, even the capabilities would be wildly different depending on whether you went in through the phone tree or their previous generation chatbot. The opportunity ahead, I think, is to build and define an agent once that represents your company at its best. And it's the capabilities, it's the knowledge about the product lines, even the company history, the ability to take action on behalf of customers. And on top of that, like the brand, the tone, the voice, like different companies have different vibes. Chubby's Shorts, one of our customers, has a very different vibe than, say, a luxury furniture retailer that we work with. So our platform uniquely enables companies to build an agent once and deploy it to chat on the web, chat embedded in your mobile app, voice over the phone, voice over the web, WhatsApp. And as applications like ChatGPT and Gemini become new kind of discovery points and front doors to the internet, we actually enable one-click publish of your agent into ChatGPT to be discovered there. So that's how we think about channels, and I think the key insight is a single agent underlying all of these, so that as you improve it, the experience improves everywhere, and you have uniform quality and consistency no matter where your customer shows up.
I want to back up to your very storied tenure at Google. What prompted you to leave? Why was this moment the time to leave Google and start your own company?
So I was at Google for 18 years, which really says something. I really loved that place, and I have such gratitude for the opportunities I had there, and most of all, the people I got to work with and for. It was truly the opportunity of a lifetime. And I started there right out of college in the Associate Product Management program. That, in fact, is where Brett and I met. He was class 1, I was class 3, and that community was quite tight-knit. For me, the decision to leave and start a company was really about going to something. It was not leaving something. And that something to go to was, I grew up in Silicon Valley. I was born in Mountain View, the city in which Google is headquartered. I started a web design company when I was 13 years old and built websites for startups during the kind of advent of the internet in the mid to late 90s. And I had always wanted to start a real company. I was proud of my web design company, but it only got so far as a high school.
Of course, yeah.
And I remember, 8 years in at Google thinking, gosh, I've been here for 2 colleges. I'm surprised they haven't started a company yet. And so it was always something that I wanted to do. And in fact, most of what I worked on at Google was 0 to 1 efforts. So it was always about the new, whether that was early mobile ads with AdMob, or virtual and augmented reality, or Google Lens and applied computer vision, or more recently things like Notebook LM and Google Labs. And so it was a desire to start a company myself and build something from scratch. Number 2, the opportunity to work with a friend of 20 years and someone who is both as capable as my co-founder Brett is, and also is values aligned as he and I are. It was quite special. And then third is just, if you're a young company, a very small boat out on the open ocean, I think it helps to start a company at the advent of kind of a new wave of technology where kind of the proverbial deck of cards is shuffled a bit. And there are some advantages to being able to move very quickly and have the nimbleness of a startup. So those were the 3 things that, again, caused me to go to this thing that I'd always wanted to go to. But I was as happy as I'd ever been at Google, and I still often say we to refer to Google. Google runs deep in me.
That's great. So when you and Brett, who of course also a very storied career in Silicon Valley, currently on the board of OpenAI, was the CEO of many huge tech companies, when you two got together and put your heads together and said, this is the moment, let's do this, why did you focus on customer service?
It's such a great question. And when we met for lunch, it was December of 22. We knew we wanted to start a company, but the specific company was something that we really worked at discovering. And to answer your question, we started by speaking with folks we trusted, CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, CPOs, about the biggest problems that they were encountering in their businesses and where they thought advanced AI and language models and agents might make a difference. And there was a set of conversations that kept taking us back to the opportunity in customer service, customer support. And what we realized was 2 things. One, it is an enormous market. Hundreds of billions of dollars per year are spent on contact centers and picking up the phones. And talking to your customers is very expensive today. It might cost $10, $20, even $30 to have a phone call. And And so a real opportunity to enable companies to drive operational efficiencies. What was more interesting to us, though, was we saw that service and support was directly adjacent to all parts of the customer experience. And I had built websites as a teenager. Actually, so had Brett. He had started a web design thing himself. And if a website in the 90s was how a business existed digitally, we saw the opportunities like, an agent and a company's agent singular, that is the future of how it is going to exist digitally and interact with its customers. And that is just a fascinating problem. And it gets at, what does the interface look like? Well, I think the conversation becomes the interface. You're having a conversation back and forth, whether that's in chat with your voice or mixing different modalities. Imagine speaking to a company's agent and having it in real time synthesize UI and product comparisons and answers visually for you. I think we're just scratching the surface of that. So it was the market opportunity and then a really interesting and important problem to solve for businesses. And I think we've all, as individuals, had the experience of being transferred 3 times and then having the call drop or waiting on hold for an hour. And I think the average American spends 13 hours a year on hold. I think there are big improvements that we can make to that and just make interacting with the great brands around you that much easier and more delightful.
Wow, 13 hours a year on hold is a horrifying thing to hear.
It's a lot.
But it doesn't surprise me, but yikes. Oh my God. Okay, so because this is such a huge market, though, of course, that means there's a lot of competition here. You are not the only company trying to do AI for customer service and to fix the problems with customer service. How do you think about the competitive landscape right now? And how do you feel like Sierra is differentiated? And what are you going to do to win?
Yeah. Well, the great thing about being in a giant market is it's a giant market. The challenging thing about being in a giant market, to your point, Catherine, is it's a giant market and other people know it too. And so we take the view that this is not our right to win. It is there's nothing written in the wind that we will be that company. I'm so proud that we have established ourselves as the category leader in conversational AI and these customer-facing agents. And it shows in our customer base, it shows in our revenue momentum, it shows most of all in the quality that we drive for our customers, where many of our customers' agents are able to resolve fully automatedly over 90% of all incoming service inquiries. We originate over $1 billion of mortgage folders per month for Rocket Mortgage, and we're solving these big, hard problems. The competition, there are obviously startup companies in this space, and there are a number that we really respect. There are the incumbents in the service industry, and I think there are challenges in moving a business model that was seat-based to a model that looks pretty different. With increasingly what we refer to as outcomes-based pricing, where you pay for a job well done by the agent. And then, of course, the foundation models are getting better, and some of the larger companies, in fact, including my alma mater, have gotten into this space as well. So we focus on, first of all, just executing phenomenally well as a company, trying to grow well, trying to scale well. And you asked about what differentiates us, what makes us different. Number one is extensibility. We set the standard in extensibility of our platform. And notably, we enable our customers to develop agents either in code with what we call our agent SDK or with no-code tools. So both technical and non-technical teams alike can build agents. And the amount of extensibility even within that has given companies, in essence, unlimited flexibility and depth in how they build their agents. Number two is, again, just the sophistication of our agents and time to value. We had the number one clothing retailer in the UK go from kind of first conversation to live in 6 weeks. Our record is 12 days. And connected this with this is number three, our approach to deep partnership, where in addition to having an industry-leading platform, we have a team that shows up and embeds with our customers to spec, build, and get up and running the first version of their agent. We call that our agent development team. And there was the study from MIT that 95% of AI implementations fail. We find exactly the opposite. We have had well over 95% of all of our proofs of concept convert to long-term paying contracts because the time to value is so exceptional and the ROI is so exceptional. And then fourth and finally, I think most companies are thinking more narrowly about this, where it's about doing the old thing with AI. It's about a better phone tree or a better chatbot. That's not how we think about this. This is a fundamentally new and better way for building your business, for interacting with your customers across every moment that matters to your customers. That's what we've set out to build. That's why I love the Redfin conversational real estate search example. With Rocket Mortgage, we do everything but service and support, right? So gives you a sense for the breadth of the applications here.
I want to end on a fun and slightly silly question. I need to hear about the Alphorn because I just tell me about the Alphorn. What is the deal? Why is there an Alphorn in your office?
Yeah, so it's actually we think it's pronounced Alphorn or Alpenhorn.
Alphorn. Oh, okay. I've never said it aloud before.
Well,
so
you know,
go.
you're with 99.9% of people in the world on that, Catherine. So
Alphorn,
we think
got it.
Alphorn as in a horn of the Alps. For the 99.99% of folks out there who haven't heard of one of these, think the Ricola ads with the like 11.5-foot long wooden horns. Why do we have an Alphorn in the office? And in fact, in every one of our offices in London, New York, Atlanta, Singapore, Paris, Tokyo, and so on, many software companies have a gong that they hit when you close a successful deal or some big event happens. We thought gongs were kind of played out. And so one of our early go-to-market leaders, Logan and I, were riffing on, well, what should we have? We should really have an instrument that's kind of the mountains, Sierra mountains and so on. And we were doing some research and came across these absurd 11.5-foot long wooden horns that we just couldn't resist. And so it is the official instrument of Sierra. We play it every time we close a deal. When our customers come through Sierra University and get trained on building agents, at the end they play the Alphorn. Whenever a customer comes and visits us, it is their right to play the horn. And in fact, we offer every one of our employees free Alphorn lessons. And so that's a thing. We haven't had many people take us up on that, but it is a thing. So
that's a missed opportunity for them. Truly, what are they doing? I don't know. It sounds
I
epic.
share that opinion. His or her own. And Catherine, if you're ever by the office, we have a horn, and you're welcome to play it. So anyway, that's the origin of the 11.5-foot long Alphorn.
Amazing. Clay, thank you so much for joining me. Happy 2026, and can't wait to see what you all do this year.
Thanks so much, Catherine. Great to be here. I really appreciate it.